Welcome. This podcast is a series of candid conversations exploring the human experience from a completely new perspective. In it, we will be diving deeply into the meaning of commonly used words and pointing you away from that old stressful way of looking at life and towards a new paradigm. This will help you find a sense of calm, cultivate meaningful relationships, and create harmony in every aspect of your life. Here is Navigating Life with Ease with Michaela, Ellis and Clare Downham. Hello.
Hey, Claire. How are you?
I'm good. It's really spring here, so it's
Yay.
nice. Sunshine, daffodils, snowdrops,
Ugh.
blossoms starting to appear on the trees. So, yes.
Oh my
How are
gosh,
you?
that's beautiful. Well, we don't have, daffodils and such, but it has been really nice here and life is good, which brings me to this word I have for
Oh,
you today. Are you ready?
I am ready as I'll ever be.
And the word is life.
Oh, yeah. I'd say mine's pretty good at the moment. What's coming to mind is that ages ago I did a live session somewhere. I think it might have gone onto my podcast at some point, and it was called something like "My Life is Boring," and it was just like how I was sort of making a comparison to how my life used to be, which was just so busy and so jam-packed full of never-ending stuff, and that now my life's so much simpler and less busy. I'd still say I quite like busyness, particularly in my business. Like to be doing things. Yeah, and that it was almost a joke, really. My life's so boring. Lots of people wouldn't be satisfied, I guess, with my life because it is quite simple, really. It's not full of big gestures or big anything or loads of buying things, or it's just gone really, really much simpler. Which is, yeah, it's great. I love it. I think a number of things came together, like the lockdown definitely has something to do with it. Because we were forced to be more simple, weren't we, because of that? But also at the same time, I'd come across this understanding that we talk about. Literally a matter of weeks before the lockdown happened, I'd come across this, 5 years ago, I'd come across this understanding. And so when the lockdown came, I kind of was quite joyful about this. Obviously not about people getting sick and dying, but just about this opportunity to not be running around like doing things or entertaining my children or Bruce's child, or just all just went, just seemed to settle. And I've enjoyed that kind of less busyness since, really. So that's the first thing that comes to mind, is just like practically how much my life has changed, just, and how much easier it seems to be to just be happy and satisfied and content, really, with not a lot, and not it not being complicated and not being loads of holidays or all that kind of thing. But then, as I was saying that, like, that's the kind of that level of it. But then the word life, like, what is that? It's almost like something that runs through us, is this life, like a life force almost. And feeling, I guess, more and more connected to that than I've ever been, really tuning into this guidance that I think life, if we think of life as not like I start at 1971 and finish at whenever, like that, like it being a period of time, but more it being more an energy, then I feel more connected to that energy now, that kind of life force energy, that, those lovely little inner nudges we get from that. Yeah, like it's like, you might, like, the word that comes to mind as an alternative for that is God, almost, or universe, or something like that. It's just this what's moving us through life, what's making our lungs breathe, and our heartbeat and all that kind of stuff is all just going on all the time without us needing to do any of that. And I think we can kind of accept that with our bodies, that all these things are happening without us, and there must be something kind of making that happen. But I think when it comes to our psychology, we tend to forget that this same life force is moving everything all the time, our thinking, our feelings. We don't really have to get that involved in it, and yet we do. And the third thing that comes to mind is that just life and living our lives on a day-to-day basis is the actual epitome of a healing and transformational journey. Every day when we show up, when we do something new, when we put ourselves out there and we try something and we fail at something, that to me is, and we share something from the heart like we're doing, that is life. Actually, that is the point of it, really. And to keep expanding or keep shedding the layers that are holding us away from that kind of universal energy field, I guess. So yeah, there were just 3 little things that bobbed in. It's such a word, isn't it? That. Yeah. What comes to mind for you?
Yeah, well, curiosity around it, really, because I hear some speak of what I would call inner wisdom as life, life guiding you, life moving you, living you, and I do see it as an energy. And actually, it was kind of interesting because when we start this podcast, when you first press the button, the intro comes in. And then I heard, and you're speaking and you're talking about navigating life with ease. And it's just like, right, there's that life thing again. It's like, what is that exactly? And kind of, where it came often, often these things can come from something where there's a rub or a friction happening. And I had that this week. And, for the past long while, actually, I haven't really been in I'm in a kind of one community, but as a coach, entrepreneur, usually and also with this, in this 3 principles, understanding that, there's thought is the creator of our experience. That's what we're experiencing. And there's a lot of communities to spend time in. And I haven't for quite a long time in the way that I used to. And I went to a call yesterday, and I hadn't been for probably more than a year. And it felt like church. Now, let me just describe that. It felt like home. Now, I haven't been to church. I was raised Catholic, and, and that's fine. I haven't been to church for, it's kind of weddings and funerals. I did go a few times earlier this year. I'm not even sure why. I think it's connection. But I think this is part of life and what I was looking to kind of explore, and what I've kind of been pondering. And often when not often, because I don't go very often, when I do go to church, I feel like an opening, and there's familiarity in words that are said, things that are done. And I usually get teary at some point. And it's just like, what is that? What's going on? And it's like, oh, wow. I think it's just a moment where I am just so close to who I really am, because I'm so quiet, right? And it kind of surprised me, because it's like, what? Like, does that mean that I am not spending time in my everyday regular life being as quiet as that? I don't know if that is. It could just be it's a week that that emotions are higher. I don't know. But I did feel something different. And there was something very like coming home. And it's just like, that feels like life. Home feels like life. And then, which is something deeper in that way. And that the life that we talk about navigating is our experience of being lived by something, by an energy that is greater than I think we can imagine. And this other mind energy, mind thought, little mind thought, jumping up in the way and like stirring the pot. And that's what we're navigating. Because life, when you think of it as it is God living us, there's nothing really to navigate there. It's just like you're in the boat and you're going for a ride, and all you need to do is settle in and just enjoy everything that comes your way. And the navigating part, it's like what we're navigating is this belief, this conditioning that we've had, that everything outside of us, what we're seeing along the way, what we're seeing outside of our boat is actually real, but it's all a making of our own mind, meaning made of our own mind. When I think about how I had kind of felt I didn't know why I wanted to go on this call, but it's like, there's something driving me to this. So I made it work. It's like, I'm going. And it's like, okay, I'm back in the boat. I feel back in the boat. And it's like, well, what does this mean for me navigating my life after the call, when I'm, living this physicalness on this material plane? So it more than giving answers, it brought up a lot of wondering, and not like, I need the answer to this. It wasn't that, but it's like, oh, it's the meaning that I'm making of things is not what to rely on. Like, that is not so helpful. And it's just understanding that, what is happening? Because I really was kind of confused, like, what's going on? What is going on? It's like, doesn't matter. Just go with this, sit, feel what happens. And then these thoughts came up, and this feeling came up. And then I could see it, almost like when I say that I was kind of back in the boat, I started to see how I was getting caught up in the twirling and the whirling of outside circumstance, making meaning of that. So I appreciate that. It's like, yes, we live in this dual kind of world where the first is, hey, my life, this is what's going on in my life. And it's actually pretty simple and all of those. And then there's this, life, that energy of potential, of possibility, of, wonder, awe and wonder of even the whole ideas of potential and possibility. So, yeah, that's kind of what was stirred up, was kind of sparked. It was like there was a spark there, and then there's, it's like the pilot light got turned up a bit. So it's like, okay, let's look at that.
Yeah, and I guess, like, thinking about the title of the podcast, the navigating life with ease. The ease comes when we're actually doing less of the navigating, doesn't it? like when we're less controlling, when we're less saying, oh, it's got to be a certain way, and then I can kind of be okay. What we're really saying is, the more we connect to this this life, in terms of the energy, the more kind of things just fall into place. I've been in a little program recently where one of the teachers talks a lot about having a spiritual team of people who guide you, kind of thing. And I've decided I've got a weather spiritual team, because I very often Bruce and I will go for a long walk and it won't rain while we're walking, and we'll get to the house or we'll get in the car and it'll start raining. Like literally, it's been held off. And a couple of weeks ago, I had to get to an event on public transport, and Bruce wasn't even here, so I had to get to the bus stop. And just before I left the house, we've got a skylight in our kitchen, and oh my goodness, it sounded like someone was dropping stones on it. It was so loud, the rain. I was like, oh great, this is great. So I just went, right, come on, I could just do with 5 or 10 minutes of dry weather while I just walked to the bus stop. And I literally got to the end of my road and it just stopped. The rain just stopped. And I went all the way to the bus stop. It started raining. And then last week I went to visit my daughter in Wales. Wales is renowned for its rain. It just is. It's the west of our country, and generally the west of our country generally gets the dumpings of rain before. I live in the east, so once my rain doesn't reach us as much, because we have a big mountain range called the Pennines between us and the west, and it generally all gets dumped there. And but anyway, so Sophie and I we did pottery painting. We sat for 4 hours painting a mug each. Like I couldn't believe 4 hours was gone. It was so lovely. But then we went to walk some lunch, and the rain held off when we went for lunch. And then we drove to another town to have a walk along the front, at the sea. And as we were driving to this other town, the heavens opened, and it was absolutely like stair rods coming down. And Sophie's going, oh, we're really going to go for a walk. Anyway, I said, it'll be fine when we get there. Literally parked the car, and the rain just stopped. And we walked along the front and along the pier and back. And then we went into Starbucks and grabbed a cup of tea. While we were in Starbucks, it rained again. And then we had a little short walk to get back to the car again. And as we stepped out, it stopped raining again. And I was just like, wow, I'm actually a weather witch. I've decided I'm a weather witch, because it was just so, and that happens so much of the time. In fact, the week I was in London, when I was in Wales last week, pretty much that day it kind of rained on and off a bit, but the rest of the week was glorious weather. Absolutely beautiful. Blue skies every day, and I could see the sea from my little place where I was staying. It was just beautiful. So I think there's something about kind of assuming that this life force has got our backs all the time. Like I remember reading a book years ago called The Universe Has Got Your Back. Gabby Bernstein, if you remember her. When like just realizing that it's not all down to us. It's not all about us. Like that's another thing, isn't it? How much meaning making we do about everything that happens, and how it's all about us, and how that's bad for us, and it's happening to us. I love that Byron Katie quote: "The life is happening for you, not to you. Everything is happening at exactly the right time, neither too early nor too late. You don't have to like it, but you have a better experience of life if you do." Like we would say, you navigate life with more ease. Realize that it's all playing out as it should, I guess, in a way. And that doesn't mean that we don't get sad when sad things happen. It doesn't mean we don't get upset. It doesn't mean any of that.
Yeah.
But there's just less suffering when we realize that life is just lifing, as one of my spiritual teachers. Life is lifing. We're all humaning. And it just is how it is, really.
Yeah.
There's some kind of there's a safe feeling that comes with that, really, that makes navigating the natural ups and downs of being human a lot easier, when we just realize that we're kind of held and safe, and it's okay.
Noticing when we're resisting to what is, when we're resisting that and fighting against it, that's when things are hard. And we're just like, oh, okay, this has happened now.
Mhm.
All right. What's next? What's next?
Yeah, I love that, because there will be action to take. There will be things to do to bring ease in that physical humaning world. But we can't even find those solutions when we're in that place of resistance, is because there's like this awful friction between us saying, well, life is supposed to be like this straight line, and life's going, yes, but I'm not. I'm actually a wiggly, pointy, scratchy line. I'm not a straight line, folks, and the friction that we experience when those two things rub up against each other, our idea of what life should be like and what life is like. That's sore. It's sore that that's where suffering is, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the resistance. Rather than just presently going, right, okay, here's the next thing to do. Lovely.
Indeed.
That was a good word.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was good. That was good. That was good for me. I needed that. I needed some words around it, some thoughts around it.
Yeah. Thank you for that exploration. It was.
Yeah. Thank you too, Clare.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Michaela. We'll see you next time.
You bet. Have a great one.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Hey, thank you for being a part of Navigating Life with Ease. We'd love to hear your feedback and receive a review on your favorite podcast platform. This will help others who'd also like more ease in their life to find us. We're here to support you, so if you've any words you'd like us to explore or you have a question, please reach out to us at navigatinglifewithease@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes of Navigating Life with Ease.